Hello. I have a slightly different question. My husband and I started seeing a family therapist. However, he said something strange to me. He told us that no matter how much you don't want to hear it, it's entirely your job to take care of the child, not the man's, and he should have his time. My husband understood from all this that he had to abdicate all obligations to our son, because we take care of our child together. He goes to work, I'm on maternity leave. However, when he comes home from work, he takes our son for a walk and bathes him in the evening. He's been doing great, and I'm the one resting at home with the housework and everything related to it. I'm confused, to put it mildly, by the psychologist's words. Where is the truth? In your opinion, is this a psychological model for solving problems in a relationship, or is it the psychologist's personal view?
First off, what you've described, it isn't just unpleasant to hear. It's genuinely confusing, and honestly, it's potentially harmful. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through that confusion. The goal here is to offer a clear, professional perspective on what exactly happened, and, more importantly, how you can move forward.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by looking at that confusing session itself. Then we'll tackle the big question. Is this some kind of official therapy model, or just the therapist's personal belief? From there, we'll talk about why a therapist's words matter so much, validate what's really going on in your partnership, and give you some concrete steps to take. And we'll wrap up by talking about the most powerful tool you have, your own inner compass.
You know, when you said you were confused, to put it mildly, that is the most understandable reaction in the world. It's completely logical. I mean, you go to a professional for help, for clarity, and you walk away with a statement that completely pulls the rug out from under the balance you've both worked so hard to create. It's jarring.
Okay, let's just isolate this one statement. This is the heart of the problem, right here. It was thrown out there like it's some kind of undeniable fact, some unavoidable truth. But as we're about to see, the foundation for a statement like this, it's not just shaky, it's pretty much non-existent. This single sentence is what sparked all the confusion and totally shifted the dynamic between you and your partner.
So, let's get right to it. The million-dollar question you asked, is this some kind of recognized psychological model for fixing relationship issues, or is it just something else entirely?
Okay, let me be absolutely clear about this. The answer is a hard no. This is not a recognized psychological model. There is no legitimate modern therapy approach, not in family systems, not in parenting, not anywhere, that says childcare is exclusively one person's job while the other gets a free pass for their time. That's not psychology. That sounds a whole lot more like a therapist's personal, outdated belief being dressed up as a professional fact.
And this slide just lays it out so perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you have the therapist's personal belief system, these really rigid, frankly outdated ideas about gender roles. But on the other side, you have the reality of modern, healthy co-parenting. And what's that based on? Shared responsibility, teamwork, talking things out and negotiating. See the difference? One is a top-down judgment, and the other is a genuine partnership.
This brings us to a really crucial point. In a therapy room, words aren't just words, they have immense power. And it doesn't just matter what the therapist intended to say. What truly matters is the effect those words have on you, the clients.
And you know, there's sort of a golden rule in family therapy that applies here. The therapist is ultimately responsible for the impact of their words. It's not on you to try and decode a confusing or harmful message. It's 100% the therapist's job to communicate in a way that is balanced, clear, and actually helpful. And the fallout from this? It's so clear. First, you were left feeling totally confused and devalued. At the same time, your partner heard something totally different. They heard they had permission to check out of their responsibilities. So this intervention wasn't just unhelpful, it was actively harmful. It threw everything off balance and essentially created a winner and a loser in the therapy room, which is the exact opposite of what's supposed to happen.
Okay, so let's just push the therapist's flawed advice to the side for a moment. I want to focus on what's actually real here, which is the partnership that you described in your question. You know, there's a name for the kind of thinking that says being a stay-at-home parent isn't real work. In psychology, we call it a cognitive distortion. It's basically just a faulty or inaccurate pattern of thinking that is negatively biased. It minimizes or even completely erases one person's labor. And that idea you mentioned, that being on maternity leave is resting, that is a textbook example of a cognitive distortion.
So let's be really clear about your reality. The way you described your family life, where one partner works outside the home, and then when they're home, you're both involved with your child in the house, that is co-parenting. That's what it looks like. Your contribution is constant, it's valuable, and it is absolutely 100% not a rest.
All right, so understanding what went wrong is huge. But the next question is, what do I do now? So let's get practical. Let's walk through some concrete, actionable steps you can take.
Okay, 3 steps. Step 1. You have to bring it up in the next session. State it clearly and directly. Something like, when you said that, I felt devalued, and my partner took it to mean they could step back from their responsibilities. Step 2. Just observe the response. Does the therapist listen, try to clarify things, and acknowledge the impact of their words? Or do they get defensive and try to downplay what happened? Because their reaction tells you everything you need to know for step 3, making a decision. If they dig in and defend that statement, that's a major red flag, and it's a very strong signal that this is not the right therapist for you.
So as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with the most important point of all. This isn't really about psychological models or therapy techniques. At its core, this is about learning to trust your own gut, your own internal sense of what is fair and right.
Just remember this one simple thing. Good family therapy should never, ever produce a winner and a loser. The entire goal is to help you function better as a team. It's not about declaring one person right and the other wrong. It's about finding balance together.
And that brings us back to that word you used at the beginning, confused. I want to reframe that for you. You weren't confused. You were having a perfectly correct and appropriate reaction. Your inner compass, your gut, whatever you want to call it, it sensed that something was deeply unfair and unbalanced. And trusting that feeling, that is your greatest strength. It was right on the money then, and you can trust it to be right going forward.